Hello, this is Brian Resney, President of Resney Wealth Management. I'm bringing an important update about the economy and the investment market so you can understand what we see in a global landscape. You know, the market's been a little rocky the last week and a half or so, kind of bouncing up, bouncing down a couple percentage points. Again, natural things. Generally speaking, economies in the emerging markets are doing well. The economy in the U.S. is doing well. Europe is still, generally speaking, kind of a flat economy to actually down and entering a recession again. That really doesn't impact us. But we are in the strongest areas right now of economic growth, which is, again, the U.S. marketplace and the emerging market economies. You know, this year it's interesting. We look at a lot of sectors that are kind of flat to down for the year. We look at a few other sectors that are actually up for the year. Generally speaking, we've done okay for the year, and we're hoping that this the fourth quarter of 2014 actually shines quite a bit. Generally speaking, the fourth quarter of every year tends to be the stronger cycle for equity-based returns, and I don't see this year really any different than that. We're looking at our indicators closely, especially on recessionary and slowdown of the economy. We're not seeing any of that. You know, we're seeing a lot of, generally speaking, nervousness out there because of the ISIS situation and now our military maneuvers, obviously, in the Middle East in order to combat some of these issues. To me, again, these are geopolitical events that happen often throughout the year. These are common, and these are no reason to run and hide or basically change one's investment strategy. We look at all the investment markets, and generally speaking, again, we're seeing improvement in the U.S. economy and in the emerging market economies. And again, we continue to avoid Europe because of some of their slowdowns and the weakness that they do have. You know, it's interesting when I look at the bond market and I look at interest rates still stay around 2.6 on the 10-year. And again, it seems that we're between this 2.4 and about 2.8 on the 10-year. We anticipate a break to the upside, not a lot of interest rate increase, but still a break to the upside of interest rates, which will ultimately hurt long-term and intermediate-term bond investors. The number one calls that we continue to get into our office from non-clients and from my radio and TV show are from investors who are still overloaded in bonds, and many of them aren't doing that great. The problem that, again, you're going to face on the bond market is when interest rates slowly go up, bond values go down and vice versa. So the best way to look at the bond market, we've had a 20-year bull run where interest rates came down year after year, very slow. Bonds did well. If I look at the next decade in bonds or the next 2 decades in bonds, bonds are either going to have very low interest rate returns, par normal interest rate returns, or they're also going to lose principal if the economies around the world get a little better and rates actually increase. I think we're going to be stuck with lower interest rates historically than we've ever had. Not that rates can't move up maybe 1 to 2 percentage points over the next 3 to 5 years. Again, under the normal average we've had over the last decade or two. But what I ultimately see is over the next 1 to 2 decades, bond investors are going to have subpar returns not only on the dividend they're being paid or the interest, but also on the total return package of those bonds, especially if rates start to stabilize and slowly move up. If you're a client of Resney Wealth Management, call us if you have any questions about your portfolio. If you're not a client of our firm, call us for a consultation. There is a difference. We do invite you to experience it. Make sure you listen to my live TV show, of course, on Wednesdays, and make sure that you listen to my live radio show this Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. Make sure you have yourself a safe and profitable day.